Hello, Shannon from Audio Energy, and today we're going to be looking at trailers part 3, so let's check it out. Hello, okay, so we're going to look at trailers part 3 today, and what I've basically done is go through and have a bit of a look at the MIDI sequencing and making sure that all the notes and parts and everything are in the right place. So I've gone through and done that a little bit before this video, but why don't we go over and have a bit of a look, and I can show you what's going on. Okay, so here we are. We're going to be looking at our file. Now what I've actually done is gone through and just tidied up each of the MIDI tracks and made them all nice and tidy and flowing in. I've duplicated this orchestra string down to my pads, so they're both playing synchronously or in synchronicity. Now I also was looking at some pads to put in to maybe spice it up a little, but I just found it wasn't quite working. So what I did do was put in some Atmos. These are crickets, and so you can just hear this on its own. You just hear that. So it just gives it a little bit of that aspect because we have nighttime views and things like that. Now what we're going to do from here, we're going to start setting up, and I'm also going to record all this MIDI onto audio tracks. So coming from this one, I'm going to add, let's say 7 new tracks. I want them to be stereo and they're going to be audio, so that's fine. Now I'm going to color code these as well, because I want them to stand out from the other ones so we don't get them all confused. So I'll just make them blue. We're also going to make some buses for these, and I want them to run consecutively. So we're going to go bus 1, 2, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right down the line. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I have to come up, and I'm going to we'll go from here down to my pads. Okay. And now the piano is actually number 7, so I want that down here. Okay, that way I've got my strings and everything lines up. So from here to my piano, I'm also going to make the, oh hang on, let's take that off for a minute. I like that. I'll make the piano yellow. I like making my piano yellow. And we'll go up here. Okay, so the next thing we have to do, we have to make sure, see these are all set to 1, 1, 1, 1, so they're all running through one main channel, which is my big drums. What I want it to do is each one going to their own channel. So that's channel 1, that's sorry, 2, that's 3, then we've got 4, 5, 6, and the piano is 7. So we now have each instrument playing to its individual channel. And I'm going to go over here now. I need to make sure, so the MIDI's coming out, it's reading the MIDI, but I want to make sure the sound engine comes out as well from these tracks. So I'm going to go to, I still have these highlighted. I'm going to go to this little button here, and I'm holding down, for Windows, I'm holding down Alt, Shift, and Control, and I'm going to plugins, okay? And I want it to be number 2. So those go right up to number 7. I don't need the crickets, that's audio, and there we are. The next thing I'm going to do, I want each of these to go to the corresponding audio tracks. Okay, so I keep them highlighted, Control Shift Alt again, we go to bus, and we're going to go to these. And there we are. Okay, now from here there's a couple of things you can do. I'm just going to switch over to this mode for a moment. What you can do is put all your EQs on here, and you can put some compressors on here. Okay. Reason we put the compression on here, or you can put them over here as well if you like, is we just want that audio to be nice and balanced when it comes in. So I'm going to actually, undo these, and we're going to go from. I want to name it. I'm not going to worry about naming these because I know what they are. It's only a very small session. So I'm going to hold down here and go up to number 7. I'm also going to bring in my dynamics, so I want to put on the red, and so we're going to use the red for all of them. Normally you would go through and have a listen to what you want. I also want this to be, we're going to use a glue compressor settings. So it basically means that we're going to bring all the music together in each track, and it's just going to sit sort of nicely. So it's going to fill things out a little bit, be reasonably balanced, sound nice and tight. You know, the reason we're doing that is we have low compression. We don't want it to be smashing and crunching and all that sort of thing. We just want it to be nice and steady and sound smooth as the whole thing works. So our compression is 1.5. The threshold, as we play this, okay, so we're going through, we don't have any played yet. I have to settle these up, and hopefully we should. There we go. So now you can see these are all running through. Okay, so they're all running through here, that's no problem. I'm just going to keep the compression on. You can put EQ along here if you want to, but once we've recorded in, we can take all this off, we can take the compressors off because it's recorded in at that standard. And then we can just EQ it, or you can put in some subtracks, which I might do instead. That might work a little better. So we have our compressors here, and they're ready to receive. But what I've got to do is make sure they're getting enough. So I'm just going to bring this one up. Now it's not reading much on there, so I'm going to lift my threshold. Now for this one, these are strings, so they're staccato, they're very quick sort of hits. I want to bring the compressor on and off quite quickly, so I'm going to bring these down. There you can see it's responding quite well. I'm going to bring my makeup gain to about 3 dB, and so it's a little over what I'm hitting, but very, very close to it. And that's for that one. The next one, low strings. Okay, now these are longer, kind of drawn out. Again, I'm going to put my glue on. So you can see there that it was starting to push up once I raised my threshold, and what that's doing is bringing the threshold level where the compressor meets the music velocity, and starts to activate the compressor so it can work. Okay, and the next one we're doing is orchestral strings, and these are a little bit bigger. Okay, so let's bring those in. So you can see what I've done here, and these are actually quite loud and quite big, so they're going to stand out. But you noticed I actually brought the slow release on the compressor. I pulled that back so it's even slower, basically because these are big chords, they're big strings, and they've got a bit of a slower release when they come off. So I want that to work with the audio that's coming through, so it can kind of get a natural feel for it and react naturally to the way those strings would be played. Our next one is horns, and again these are kind of like a legato here. So what we might even do is bring that one over. There we go. So I've basically brought the our staccato strings over to our horns because they're kind of playing a staccato type kind of sound as well, and so you'll notice that it does match. So you notice that they're matching there. The next one, what have we got now? We've got our pads, okay, our pads. Okay, so they're not ready to go. Okay, maybe I missed this one. What have we got? Audio 5. we have 5, so we have that's 6 there, so it should be going into 6 here. Let's just put on solid so we can figure out which one we're playing. I suppose this is when naming things can come in handy. Okay, so it's that one there. That's our horns. We got pads. Okay. So we're going to have that on. I'm going to give this a big push up. I might go to 2. One little bit faster attack so I can catch that. A little bit of a slower release. And we're going to bring that onto here. There we go. Give it a bit of a drive. It's going to get a bit of that kind of natural compression saturation that you can get from them. Gives it that kind of analogy warmth. A bit of a drive in there. Now, we'll go to the next one, which is our piano. Now, piano can be a little more tricky, especially when you're doing EQs for these sorts of things. Let's see if it's working. Let's just jump over here for a minute. There we are. So I'm going to set these manually. I'm going to go to 3. Oh. Yeah, it's working pretty good. I don't want to push it too hard. It's there, so I want to bring this down so it's kind of quick with the hits. The compressor grabs it and lets go of it pretty quick, like that. And we're going to put our makeup gain up here. There we are. Now I'm not using any low frequencies on this piano, so I'm going to roll this up to 75. I don't need to compress anything low, I don't want to do that. Okay, and I can do this for the strings as well. Roll up to 75. So that's kind of like a bypass, really, on a high-pass filter. Yeah, so the next one, okay, so obviously Audio 7, we don't need this track. I'm going to delete this one because we don't need that one. And there we are. So essentially everything's ready to record. I'm going to come back to the beginning here, and I don't need to record my crickets. So we're just going to make everything, actually I don't want to do that. So I'll just give it one test to make sure everything's working good. Okay, so everything's working pretty good. I'm just going to let this record now. Okay, so there we are. You've noticed I probably started a little early there, if you have a look. It's not too bad. There's plenty of space there. And I also let it run over at the end here as well. And so I really want to do that. Always good idea to let that, any tails that you might have coming off, it's always good to leave there. Now, okay, what we're going to do now, because I have all these in, I don't really need these anymore. So I'm just going to hide and make it active, so that way my whole session can run a lot quicker. And that's why I'm putting these onto audio as well. So the session runs a lot faster. I'm not chewing up a lot of CPU power, and I'm going to take these off as well. So actually, here we go. I'll do this here. insert. So now I can take them off because I've actually recorded everything in, and that recording will hold. I don't need the compressor there anymore. Okay, those channels are compressed, and you can see, actually, if I go out a little bit, you can see that they are quite tight. And I'll just make this large for you, so you can see that all these are actually nice, strong signals. They're all pretty balanced, pretty equal. There's not any real lagging. This is really huge. I might pull this down a little bit. There we are. And everything else is pretty well balanced. Now, the reason the waveform is looking a little bit like this is because the way that the MIDI actually works, and the way that the expressions inside the MIDI signals are sending the music, the way that they're being recorded according to the samples. So, this one here, I'll just rename these now. I probably should have done it before, but that's alright. Strings, string high, and then we go string low, and then it was aux strings, and then it was, I think it was horns, piano, horns, okay, horns audio, then I think it was pads actually, pads, and then piano, and pads, audio. So the reason this is coming up too, you'll see this, is because it recognises that there's already a track with that name. So just put audio there so that when you know that it's an audio channel. And then we'll do piano, audio as well. Okay? So the computer now knows. Now what we can also do, if you want to be really pedantic about things, we can put our strings as one particular colour. Let's make them orange. Then we'll do our horns red. We'll do our pads, we'll do them pink, and we'll do leave our piano blue. That's fine. Actually, we may as well make our piano yellow because it was yellow before, so we'll keep it yellow. Now what we can do here is we can start to, let's go back to here for a minute. I'm going to open this up a little, and then we're getting on towards the end of this lesson. I'd like to finish up shortly, but I might just show you a couple of things. We want to, let's go to the end here. And we're going to put in a auxiliary channel. Let's go to auxiliary input. Okay, and I'll make that, let's say a darker orange. Horns and pianos. I'm not going to worry about an auxiliary channel for that. Piano, I probably might put 2 in because I want one for a bit of mixing, and I want another one, so we're going to make that 2. 2 auxiliaries. So I want to put in a little bit of reverb, and I also want to have a mix there as well. So I'm going to put those in. So we'll make them a darker pink as well. There we are. Oh, that was pads. Actually, what I should do is move them over here, and I'll make them yellow. There we are. Darker yellow. Darker even. There we are. Okay, so basically my session's set up. Also want to run in excuse me. Also want to run in a master track. Okay, I'm going to make that stereo as well. So I have my master track here as well. I'm going to make that red. I like making this nice deep red. There we are. Okay, so we have our session set up. We can put on our EQ, so I'm just going to run straight along here. We're going to put in some EQ, and okay, just go to these for now. That's cool. I want to put on, I'm going to put in my master mix here, my virtual mix. This is the Slate virtual mix. And it takes a little while to bring it up. There we are. So I can put that in later. And this is reverb, so let's see what reverb we got. The piano usually sounds good actually on the deverb, but I might put up the verb suite for now as well. Why not? There's the verb suite. Now I'm going to come back to my auxiliary channel here. We'll just call this string sub, because it's a submix channel. Okay, I'm going to take all those off. And instead of having this here, I'm going to actually I'll bring this one across. Turn that off for a minute. I'm going to bring this over to here. So therefore, that's our main mix, and that's another mix. I'm not going to worry about horns too much, because they're just more sort of filling everything in. So there we are. Our session is very shortly ready to go into the next mixing stage. One other thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to put in a specific sub channel, and this is a good thing to do, because basically what's going to happen is just make this like your master sub, master sub mix. Whoops, sub mix. So basically, I'm going to feed everything coming from all these channels here are going to go into this one. So why don't we set that up now? Actually, I might wait for the next lesson. So that'll do for now. Okay, so hopefully that's been a good little lesson for you. I hope it's having a good look at how to put some music to video. Of course, it's not a film trailer, it's just a bit of free video and putting some music to that. Once it's all done, might put it up on my YouTube and you can have a bit of a look at the end product if you haven't seen this before. So anyway, I hope that's been great for you. Please subscribe, pass it on, let everyone know, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.